Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the start of a daily reading vlog. It's just going to be like a single day. Maybe, we'll see. So I was on the brink of starting a different reading vlog, like a more like a longer one, like for like a week or however long until I read the books I wanted to read for it. But I wanted to finish the books I was currently reading first, and I've been discovering that I was having a hard time like sitting down. I have, I think, 3 currently reading books, and I was having a hard time sitting down and getting motivated, I guess, to read them. I don't know what it was. Maybe I just wasn't into physically reading again, like I haven't been for the last year. I'm not sure. But I didn't want to start a reading vlog of a bunch of new books if I don't like having unread books hanging over me if I'm going to put them aside and read something completely different. So I wanted to finish what I was currently in the middle of, but I just, for whatever reason, I'm having trouble finishing them. So I was kind of poking around on Hoopla yesterday, looking to see if maybe there was audiobooks for the books that I'm currently in the middle of. I can maybe finish them that way. And I ended up coming across a short story. It was I wouldn't call it a novella because it was literally less than 30 pages long. And it was like a steamy little smutty short story. It was called Captured by a Prince by Emma Castle. It was literally, it says it's 75 pages, but like first like 30 pages were the actual short story, and then the rest of the 75 pages was a preview of the first 3 chapters of Love in the Wild, which is her Tarzan retelling. So I had a fun time reading that, and it was short, and it wasn't a big commitment. And if you know, I gave it 3 stars because, again, it was really short, but she introduced so much backstory in such a short amount of time that I really wanted more out of it. I would have liked a full-length story because it was an MMF romance. It was about a prince and his bodyguard who go to find this princess that's been MIA, but they've been betrothed since they were kids, and he needs her to come back and fulfill the marriage contract that their parents made because his father, the king, is dying, and he needs to marry her. The one thing he wants is for them to see that contract fulfilled. So they go and find her in the United States, and they have a steamy night together, and it's revealed that like him and the bodyguard are best friends. The bodyguard's been in love with the princess for years, since they were kids, and she's had a thing for him, and she doesn't want to marry the prince because she's like, well, I'll never know what it's like to be with him. And then they end up like having, like, it's like, well, you can have both of us, and it's literally like 30 pages, and this happens in 30 pages, and I was like, wait, I want more. So the sex scene was very short, again 30 pages, and it was very short and to the point, and there wasn't a lot of, anyway, I wanted more from it, and I would have loved it to be a full-length book, or even a novella, or like a book and then having a novella of the bodyguard, like having the prince and princess story and then having the bodyguard as a set. Anyway, I have that's not what that was what kind of got me on this track of wanting to find more smutty, steamy, little short stories to read and hopefully jumpstart my reading mood. So I spent last night when I was laying in bed looking on Hoopla for a bunch of steamy little short stories, and I found quite a few. I actually found let me find it. They're all like ebooks. I found it's called The Dirty Bits, and there's a whole bunch of different short stories written by all different authors. One of them's a K. Webster short story. Some other, like, I haven't heard of some of the others, but so I favorited a bunch of them to hopefully to read today. I do only have, this is where I say it might be more than a day, because where is it? I do only have 3 more credits on my Hoopla that I can use this month. And you only get 6 for the month. I really think it's crap that I have to use a credit for a book that's less than 100 pages. I wouldn't even call it a book. For a story that's less than 100 pages. So literally all of these, so everything I'm reading today is less than 100 pages. I feel like if it's 100 pages or more, I would consider it more of a novella. I know it goes by like word count, but I think novellas are 10,000 words they have to be, so it's going to be under that amount and just be considered a short story. So what I'm going to do is going to read a bunch of them today, and I'll probably update you after I read each one or a couple of them, because they're not going to take long. I have, how many do I have? These literally, there was hundreds, thousands of them to go through, and I got tired, so I only downloaded 6, 7. I think there's 7 of them. And then I also went on to my Kindle to see if there was any on there. I don't have Kindle Unlimited anymore, unfortunately. I don't use it enough to want to pay the $10 whatever a month it is a month. So any books that I read on my Kindle are either super cheap, like they're on sale for 99 cents, or they're free because I have Prime, or they're free because they're Prime reading. But I don't remember if there were any. I know I got a ton of books yesterday that were super cheap. They were like free or 99 cents. So I don't remember if any of these, I don't think any of these are like, would be considered a short story. I think most of them are either novellas or actual novels. So we're not even going to go with the Kindle. We'll stick with Hoopla. So this video is either going to be super, super short, or it's going to be fulfilling, and I've read all of the ones that I have favorited on my Hoopla app. I may even, depending on how it goes, I may even decide to go and look for more. I don't know. But let me go back to that. So I broke out my tablet for the first time in, I don't know how long, like it was dead, and there's an update waiting. So I have a bunch of these Dirty Bits ones, and I know it's like a whole series. I don't know. So I do have one that's like Dragon Shifters. It's 28 pages long. It's another MMF, I think, or MFF. I'm not sure which one it is. It says 2+1. Dragon Down Under 2+1. And they're Dragon Shifters. And then I have, so I tried to pick some things that were a little bit different. Most of them are still typical, like, the K. Webster one is 47 pages. It's called Bidding for Keeps. It's a sexy reunion romance. So I think the Dirty Bits one, it's called Sorority Secrets. The Virgins of Beta Kappa Nu would do anything for each other, even auction off their most valuable asset. So I think a lot of the Dirty Bits are like the Sorority Secrets thing, as far as I'm understanding. Another Dirty Bits I have is 88 pages. It's Love in the Stacks by Delilah Peters. That one has no description. Dirty Bits again. We have Break Me, 31 pages by Tracy Wolff. That one I don't think is a sorority one. At least it doesn't say it is. This one doesn't have a page count, so I'm not 100% sure if it's like a novella, a full-length novel, or what. I think it's more of a full-length novel, so I don't think I'm going to. It's called Bonds of Trust by Linda Archer. I have to look further into that one because there's no page number. I don't want to borrow it if it's a full-length book or more than 100 pages. Next we have The Weekend Swap by Susan K. Droney, again 44 pages. Some of these have really terrible star ratings, which I wasn't really worried about because I'll just rate them on my own. Next is another Dirty Bits one, and that is Night Next Door by Delilah Peters, I think, and that's 88 pages. I think I already had one by her, Delilah Peters. Yes, she did the Love in the Stacks one. That's not that one. And then the last Dirty Bits one I have is Sharing Body Heat by Lexi Davis. That one is 67 pages. So I think I'm going to put this down and let it update itself because I don't need it to be doing anything weird while I'm trying to read. So I'm going to let it update and maybe hang out. I don't know. I was going to use these, so I do have stuff to do around the house. This is my only day off this weekend. So I was gonna kind of use these as little rewards for myself. Like when I do something, check something off of my list of things to do around the house, I'll read a steamy little short story as a reward and then update you guys about it. But I think while this is charging more and updating, I'm going to do some more housework so that way I can maybe reward myself with a couple of stories in a row instead of bouncing back and forth. Anyway, I'm going to show you Tyler because he's so cute. I was trying to, like, my window is here, but like if I turned the camera, like all you got was like the blue bright window behind me, and it didn't work very well because I wanted to have him in the background. But he's sleeping. Look at my little boy. Say hi, Tyler. He's all cozy. And then the girls are up there. For once, they're not in my face as I'm trying to film. But okay, I'll catch you guys up later once I read my first little short story. All right, so I finished the first sexy short, as it's called, Dragon Down Under 2+1 by Angela Castle. And let me say, it was... I haven't ever read a dragon shifter book, like, ever. This was my first experience with it, and probably not the best one. I ended up giving this only 2 stars for a couple reasons. The sexy scene was good. It was decent. And our heroine is a plus size woman. Her name is Sky. And then we have our 2... I don't know if they were, I think they're brothers, Jax and Dar. They're the dragon sister shifters that were exiled from the dragon realm and have made a home for themselves in the deserts of Australia, where they find our heroine, Sky, who has been dumped in the middle of the desert by her fiance. I guess they were going for a romantic Valentine's Day weekend together, and he dumps her and leaves her to die, I guess to cash in on the insurance policy he had on her. And these dragon shifters see her, something shiny, laying in the middle of the desert near the entrance to their lair, and they scoop her up, and then just upon touching her realize that she's their one true mate. Like, she is the mate to both of them. So it was just I don't want to say cheesy, but it just felt, I don't know, it wasn't great. And then there was her, so toward the middle-ish, it's only 28 pages. Toward the middle-ish, she says her fiance, the guy that dumped her, left her for dead. His name was Greg. But then at the very, very, very end, in like, there's a part that says her Bob could never hurt anyone again. And I'm like, wait, who's Bob? So there was like a change in name. And I also found like some pretty obvious, like, I'm not usually one for, like, when I get all excited when I find spelling errors in like traditionally published books. This was a little short, so I kind of like brushed it off, but there was like a couple significant things that were distracting to me and pulled me out of the story. So it wasn't great. So I ended up giving it 2 stars. I only have 2 titles left that I can read. So I think I'm going to I definitely want to do the K. Webster one. I haven't read anything by K. Webster, but she's an author I'm actually familiar with. Like, I've heard of her. So a couple of the other ones I've never heard of. But I think I'm going to do the K. Webster one is, Bidding for Keeps. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll do the Weekend Swap one, because I think that's one with, it's a wife's swap or husband swap or something like that, partner swap. So those are the 2 I'm probably going to read with what's left of my titles for the month. So several hours have passed because I fell asleep. But I did finish the next sexy short story, Bidding for Keeps it was the K. Webster one of the Dirty Bits Sorority Secrets, which is actually a whole series of 5 books. And I enjoyed this. This had a lot more story to it that I think it probably would be considered more probably of a novella. I think in the beginning it says it's like 14,000 words, but I know some short stories can go more or less. Like it's like it's a whole gray area. But this one had a lot more backstory and plot, and we got flashbacks to 3 years ago. So this is it's like a second chance romance. Sorry, my arm's getting tired. It's like a second chance romance between our heroine and her older brother's best friend. And so basically the whole premise of this sorority secrets series is one of the sorority sisters' brother, I guess he works for an animal shelter or something, and there's a fire and he gets gravely injured in the fire, and in order to help pay for his medical bills, the sisters decide to auction off their virginity online, because I guess one of the things about their sorority is they're all virgins, or they're at least pretending to be. They say they're virgins. And our heroine, and I forget what her name is already, Vivienne, isn't actually a virgin. Her virginity was taken 3 years ago by her brother's best friend, and then he pretty much just disappears, doesn't act, like she thinks that after that happens, like they're gonna be a thing, and it doesn't turn out that way, and she's just been with nobody else. She's bitter about it. She thinks, it's a whole thing. And so when she puts her name on this website to be bid on, he's the one who ends up bidding on her, but she doesn't know this at first. You get flashbacks to that day where he takes her virginity, and we get dual perspectives. So you get his point of view and you get her point of view, and there's relationship build up, and it's an HEA. I think all of the stories in this series are an HEA. So they end up together, and yeah, it was a nice story. It was fun. It was cute with all the little animals. And yeah, so I actually fell asleep in the middle of reading it. So like, I'm a little bit fuzzy now on the beginning half of what I read. But I did enjoy it. And then I think I'm gonna at one point eventually read the rest of the stories in this series, because my Hoopla does have all 5 of them. And I gave it 5 stars. Did I say that? I think I did. So that was the K. Webster one. I thought there would be more. I would enjoy it more just because I know more. I'm more familiar with her as a writer than I've never, like I said, I've never read any of her actual like published, like traditionally published stuff. But so this was my little taste test for K. Webster. So yeah, so like I said, next I'm going to read Weekend Swap by Susan K. Droney, which is going to be probably the last one of this vlog, because like I said, it's my last credit that I have left. It's 5 o'clock right now. I slept a little bit longer than I had intended to do, but I think I'm going to set this one aside until a little bit later, because I have some things I need to finish around the house. It's time for the dogs to EAT. I'm using my phone as a backlight because it's so dark, but it's like so bright and in my face. Anyway, I finished my last short story for this reading vlog, which was Weekend Swap by Susan K. Droney. And I enjoyed this one as well. I enjoyed her writing very much. I enjoyed the whole idea of being of swingers. So, but I ended up giving this one 3 stars only because, let me give you a quick synopsis. So we have our 2 best friends. We have Tyler and Kay, Tyler being a female. And they're both kind of like getting bored with their current sexual relationships with their husbands. So Tyler gets this brilliant idea to swap husbands, and Kay is kind of like, isn't that like cheating? Like, I don't know how I feel about that. And eventually convinces her to give it a try. But so this is where they kind of lost me at first. So they plan to trick the husbands into sleeping with the others, you know, like this, into sleeping with the other's wife, which I was really put off by that, because I'm like, because they ended up bringing the guys into the room to watch like porno videos and getting them drunk. And I was just like, this isn't sitting well with me. So they get the guys drunk, and then like put them to bed, and then they swap. And then the one friend goes in the bed with the husband, and the other one goes in the bed with the other husband. And I'm like, I don't know about this. It's different if the guys would be involved and consented to it, but it seems a little bit not okay that first of all got them drunk and then swapped without the guys knowing about it. So that was really where they lost me with this story, and I was like, yeah, I don't know about this. But it turned out it was okay in the end, because it's a spoilers if you plan on reading this. The guys knew what they were doing. They had overheard their conversation the previous weekend, and kind of decided to just kind of go along with it. So they weren't actually drunk, but yeah, so the guys they were aware of what was happening, and they were on board with it. So they become like a swinger couple. So it was an interesting story. I do have to say though, the steamy scenes were very short. There wasn't really anything involved with them. It was kind of a wham bam thank you ma'am, and they were done. And I was like, yeah, no, not for a sexy short story. It seemed to be a lot more of build up than anything else. So that's why I gave it 3 stars. But I enjoyed it. I've never read like sexy short stories like this before, but like I said, I just happened to find one randomly last night and was like, yeah, I'll read this. It was only super short. I do have others that I have on my list to read, but like I said, I don't have any more credits to use on my Hoopla app, and I didn't find any of them for free on Kindle. I wasn't gonna pay for I wasn't gonna pay 99 cents or more for a 40-page short story. Sorry, but I'm not. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me guys know what you thought of this. If you think I should, next month when I have credits again, if I should do a second part 2 to this, and if I should keep it up. But yeah, let me know. We'll see how this video actually does. I know I don't have a huge following, but some videos still hit better than others. So that's it. And if you have any recommendations for me, you can leave them down below as well, and I will definitely check them out. It is 8 o'clock. Oh no, it's a little after 8 o'clock. So I am going to hopefully read a little bit more of the books that are on my currently reading list, so I can start my next reading vlog. But I will see you guys next time in a new video. Bye.